Where's Miss Rodriguez? Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon and welcome to the Leon Valley City Council special meeting. Today is Tuesday, August 13th, 2019, and it's approximately 5:33 in the afternoon, and I will call this meeting to order, and we do have a full council present. Regular agenda item number 2, discuss and consider possible action to reconsider or clarify the budgetary actions of funding an in-house city attorney as a contract attorney. Ms. Postley, do you have anything on this? I'm not.
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay, all right. So, I don't really know how to start this discussion. So.
I'm supposed to phone Kelly in.
Okay.
I just didn't want to.
Okay, very good. And you can take one thing.
Okay, the mayor just started the meeting. She called the meeting to order. Hello?
No.
Great, this is not going to work. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes. So you can, she started the meeting, and so she's waiting for you to start where they're supposed to start off.
Okay, so are you ready for me, Mayor?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I can hear you. Good evening, everybody.
I think she's waiting for you, Kelly.
Okay, as long as you can hear me.
Yeah, I've already read the regular agenda item.
Good evening. So the reason that we called this evening's special meeting is for a possible reconsideration for the city attorney contract versus the city attorney position. Yeah, I've already read the regular agenda. So the reason that we called this evening's special meeting is for possible reconsideration for the city attorney contract versus the city attorney position. I discussed this item with Mayor Riley, and neither of us believe
Should we just postpone this to the next meeting?
Kelly, can you hold on just a second? I'm going to call you from my cell phone. Hold on, okay?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, see, it sounds good there without going through the is that going through our system here?
Are you there?
Yes, they're here. And can you just
That
repeat?
better?
Yes, much better. Can you just repeat what you said? You called this item was added on the agenda, and you can continue.
Yes, the item was actually added on the agenda by Mayor Riley. Mayor Riley and I discussed after the last meeting the special about possibly having a special meeting for the city attorney contract versus a regular FTE or full-time equivalent city attorney position. Neither I nor the mayor believe that Councilor Martinez should have voted on that particular part of the budget, either because of a conflict or because of the perception of a conflict. So I just want to ensure that the council knows why the item is there, and that Mayor Riley is actually the one who put that, or who actually requested the special meeting and the agenda item.
Well, just a point of clarification. It was also Ms. Alcacer that was in the, after the meeting last time, and we talked about it, and I said
That
I'd
is
be more
correct.
than happy to put it
That's
on.
right. Ms. Alcacer was in the room.
Exactly.
And Mayor, then
you
you
know,
said you would put the item on. You're
I don't
correct.
know if we did any
Okay.
research about conflict, Ms. Frederick, but anyway, I said I'd be more than happy to put it on so that we could talk about it. So that was why I agreed to that. So, again, I'm not,
I can't hear Crystal.
She didn't say anything.
yeah, I didn't really say anything.
Oh, okay.
I've got nothing to say on this matter.
Okay.
Are
The advice we got from our city attorney yesterday was that if you take any action regarding the subject of this meeting, council would have to repeal the previous vote. So that is what direction you've given us. Excuse me, Ms. Alcacer, go ahead.
Are you willing to withdraw your motion?
I don't believe I can withdraw my motion. The agenda, we passed the budget, which is an ordinance. The ordinance, if our city secretary did her due diligence like she always does, was posted on Friday in the newspaper. So we have an ordinance, a valid legal ordinance.
This is why.
The only way that we can change it is to create a new ordinance that will supersede our present ordinance.
I'm sorry, Mayor and Council, that's not true. You can amend the budget ordinance to remove the vote that you took on that one particular item, and to change it, you can amend that ordinance. So if you want to amend it, we would have to draft a new ordinance that amends that ordinance, and that includes whatever vote or whatever decision you want to make or put in there tonight.
So we
With
vote?
2 hearings as well?
Yes, it would have to be 2 hearings.
Okay.
So are we able to repeal it and then vote on it again?
Since that's true that Mr. Martinez brought up the fact that it is an entire ordinance, it's not just one thing that you voted on the entire ordinance that night. When I was talking about repeal, I meant that particular section of the ordinance. But at this point, because it's included, it's really not written in the ordinance, but it was included as part of your vote for the budget ordinance. You can amend that ordinance.
Sandra has something to say.
Yes, Ms. Bosley.
I would, can we get Vicki in here, because, just because of the budget part?
Sure.
Because I did check with her on the ordinance part. We've gone to get her.
Mayor and council, I believe that when you made the vote to go with outside counsel, you effectively changed the budget ordinance because the finance director had included my salary in for, and my position in for the next fiscal year. So it would have to be, now it would, like I said, it would have to be amended because you changed the ordinance.
Okay, so do you know if it was
With
published?
the vote. Sandra, was it published?
The only ordinances that get published are ordinances with fines. There's no fine to a budget ordinance.
Good evening, Vicki. Yes, thank you for coming up so quickly.
Mayor and
Okay, so
Council, Sandra and I had this conversation on Saturday, and we don't feel, of course, we're not attorneys, that you have to go back and redo the ordinance. You're only clarifying what was already been voted on. That's all you're doing.
Okay, well, I don't know why we're having a meeting then.
I don't agree with that, but you can make an amendment to the ordinance because you voted on the entire budget that night.
Right, but we're not amending the budget.
They're amending the ordinance. Was that my position in the ordinance? Is my position in the ordinance itself?
No.
In the 2020.
It's not in the 2020 budget?
I mean, there's a position in there, yes.
Okay. When they took the vote, they changed the policy and took my position out.
Change policy.
Right, but they took my
But it
position
didn't
out.
change the budget or amend the budget.
But it changes the fact that you have a city attorney, in-house city attorney in there for a salary? Right? Is that in the budget? I'm asking.
What was up for consideration was to either, it doesn't matter where either you fund a position or you fund it contractually. So that was the question that was up, and they're just clarifying that. So it doesn't change the fact that nothing changes in the dollar amounts. You're not amending the budget because you're not amending the dollar amounts in any way or any form.
Ms.
So
Benson-
then
excuse me, I'm sorry.
you can just, then they can go
Asking
ahead
for
and repeal.
clarification.
Well, they took a vote. So when they take a vote, they either have to repeal it or amend it. They took a vote on that particular question. So at this point, since it doesn't affect the ordinance in and of itself,
No.
then you can repeal that vote and then take another vote.
Ms. Bosley.
I did not craft the agenda wording, but if you look at the agenda wording, it is just to clarify the budgeting, the actions funding an in-house city attorney versus a contract attorney. So the budget amount is still in the budget. It's just a wording clarification is what I was under the impression that we were doing.
Yes, ma'am, and that's our impression of it, and that's why we're saying it doesn't require, you're not changing the ordinance. But you're not changing the budget
Okay,
document.
I
itself.
agree with you. I agree with you that, because I didn't write the ordinance, you did. So that's why I was saying, asking you if the position of city attorney is in the budget and they change the policy. So if they change the policy, then that position doesn't exist anymore.
If that's what they're choosing. But
So,
the funding is there for either, the question presented to them throughout the whole workshop was either they wanted to do an in-house or they wanted to do contractual. So it's a placeholder, the money's there.
Okay, go ahead, Kelly.
Okay, I wish we had had that information before, because that's exactly what I asked. And I was told that we couldn't do it as a placeholder.
Hearing nothing.
So
That's me.
Kelly's got something to say. Go ahead, Kelly.
Or the FaceTime, the TV is delayed.
Go ahead, Kelly, do you have something to add?
Go ahead, Kelly, do you have something to add? I'm so sorry. I've been going between the computer and I just shut off the TV because I was hearing there was delayed response and everything. So everybody was like talking over everybody as far as I could hear. I know that wasn't happening, but just technology wise. Ryan Henry is the one who actually drafted the agenda language. And I agree with what Vicki just said as well. As much as I could hear.
So I have a question, I guess, to the attorney is, I thought we were here because Mr. Counselor Martinez had a conflict of interest and shouldn't have made the motion. Is that not why we're here in reality? That was what I understood with the mayor, talking to the mayor and the city manager.
is that to me? Oh, I don't know.
I guess.
I don't know. I wasn't in that conversation, so I don't know what y'all discussed as far as what the agenda or what you plan to do tonight. But what I'm advising you is that since it's not a part of the ordinance, then because you took a vote, you have to now repeal that vote because that's a vote of the council and it's on the record. So now if you're going to change it in any way, you have to repeal the one you took before if you're going to change it.
Do you feel that, I don't know, see, this is such a mess. Do you feel that the Councilor Martinez had a conflict of interest in making the motion?
I think it would be a conflict of interest for me to comment.
Figured that. Can we, I don't know, this is a mess. Mayor, help.
That was, again, I always thought conflict of interest equals some kind of a monetary, connection. So I don't know.
Yeah, monetary connection. If our present city attorney, it doesn't have a position, that's definitely monetary.
Okay. Mr. Martinez.
Now, I'm saying this not as an attorney, and this isn't legal advice. It is my opinion that we passed the budget, we passed the ordinance, and it stands on its own 2 feet. The only thing we can do at this point is to modify the ordinance. So we would have to create a new ordinance to replace that one section of the ordinance that we passed and replace it, or just that one section. A lot of the times, the secretary makes them in her statement that, about repealing and replacing, so that would, to me, that would be the legal way to handle this. And of course, that would require 2 readings. And the motion isn't, or the agenda isn't crafted to do that tonight. So we'd have to have a special city council meeting in order to bring this subject up. And then we'd have to have a second reading before the end of the month to be prepared for September 1st.
Mayor?
Yes, Ms.
I heard
Jones.
both the finance director and the city attorney say that we would not have to redo the whole ordinance, that we would just amend the section pertaining to the city attorney. So that doesn't mean that we would redo the whole ordinance to have 2 readings. We would only amend the section pertaining to the city attorney.
But I thought
Mayor and
Ms. Frederick
Council,
did say
after,
2
yeah,
readings.
well, yeah, if you're going to amend the ordinance, but you don't really have to amend the ordinance since, based on what Vicki said, that it's just a placeholder, that it's nothing in there that mentions my position. So you took a vote on the dais, separate and apart from the vote that you took on the budget as a whole, correct?
Yes.
So all you have to do now is repeal that vote and replace it with something else. It's simple. If you want to change it, or if you want to have a different vote and have Councilman Martinez recuse himself at this point, that's up to you, Mayor, to ask him to do that. It's up to him to either recuse himself or not and take the vote again. But in effect, your motion would be to repeal and replace the vote with a second vote without his vote, if that's what you want to do.
Okay, Mr. Martinez.
I think this thing needs to be run by the TML attorneys and get their opinion on this.
Okay. Mr. Henry.
That one, okay, thank you. If I can offer a helpful suggestion. What Councilman Martinez suggests is definitely one way to solve the problem. What your city attorney, Ms. Frederick, suggests is also one way to solve the problem. You have a couple of different options available to you. I'll suggest a third way that you might want, but I'll defer to your city attorney on whether or not it's appropriate given what occurred at the actual budget meeting. If you just want to clarify that, in fact, Mr. Martinez shouldn't have voted on that section, but you're not really changing what the motion was for that section or how it applied to that section, you make a motion to ratify the position that's in there, and Councilman Martinez simply abstains from the vote for ratification. That way, what you're doing is you're confirming that it is the policy of the council, but Councilman Martinez abstains from it at that point, and then since it isn't directly amending the ordinance, you don't have to repost it or doing any of that other stuff. It's a ratification of the decision, regardless of funding, as to whether or not it's filled by a in-house attorney or a contract attorney.
Okay, and the reason why Mr. Martinez should recuse himself is?
Your ethics ordinance has an aspect of avoiding the appearance of impropriety. I can't really comment on whether it is or isn't a conflict of interest without kind of diving all the way into it, because it depends on the facts. However, you do want to avoid the appearance of impropriety, and making a ratification and having Councilman Martinez abstain from that kind of corrects any false perceptions or aspects that people may have regarding whether or not he has any sort of ulterior thoughts or motives or things like that. So it's really a conservative advice just to solidify the decision of the council.
Okay, and this is related to the 312 hearing.
Yeah, because Ms. Frederick had filed a complaint against him.
I just want to make sure that we're all understand and we're all on the same page. That's all.
Yes, that's correct.
All righty.
Okay.
Thank you.
But it's up to you guys how you wish to proceed.
Okay.
Mayor and council, I would agree with that option. It makes sense that you can do a ratification.
About the ratification,
And it
okay.
doesn't take two.
No,
Really?
and neither would the way that I gave you, but the ratification is cleaner. It
Okay.
makes more sense, so, thank you.
Do you have to ask if he's going to recuse or abstain?
Mr. Martinez, what is your decision on that?
I don't think I have to, or I should.
Well, then we don't. Okay, so I think that this is predicate on you recusing yourself in order to, is my
I
understanding.
didn't do anything malicious. So why would I want to recuse myself on a legal vote?
Okay, Ms. Charles.
I make a motion that we do ratify the vote that was taken last time and do a vote this evening with the abstention of Councilor Martinez.
I have a question.
Can you do that?
Can you do that?
That's what I say.
Your city attorney in kind of a conflicting position at the moment. The motion, I think that motion probably isn't entirely proper because it's predicated on the abstention. If you want to make a motion, my suggestion is you make a motion to ratify the decision that the city attorney's position will be through a contract attorney instead of a in-house attorney. You just make it real clean like that. If that's the motion you want to make, you would say so moved and seconded, and then it's up to Councilor Martinez at that point if he's going to abstain. I don't think it's a full recusal. He doesn't have to recuse himself. It's just that he abstains from the vote. Normally, in the city attorney position, it'd be advisable for him to abstain. Doesn't mean he's done anything wrong. What it does is it just supports and it eliminates any potential challenge or threat or concern regarding it. And so it's really for the betterment of the budget and the process and the city thing. It doesn't mean he's done anything wrong. He's just avoiding an appearance.
Okay. All right. Yes, Mr. Bradshaw, and then I'll have Mr. Martinez if you have
Just
anything
to
else
clarify Mr. Henry's advice, so somebody would make a motion that we ratify the agenda item, and then we would vote, and Mr. Martinez would just abstain from the vote,
Yes.
correct? Okay, that's what I was.
And not recuse
just wondering.
himself.
Yeah, you're not,
Okay.
yes, he wouldn't recuse, he would just
Yeah,
abstain.
he would just say, I abstain, and that's all he has to say.
Okay.
So she has to,
Excuse
I
me
need to
just a second.
withdraw my,
Okay. Yeah.
okay, I'll amend it.
All right, excuse me just a second. I just wanted
oh,
to
he
see.
didn't have a second yet.
No,
so-
there wasn't a second. I just wanted to see if Mr. Martinez had any other questions or comments based on what the attorney just advised.
If it's just to ratify that we're going from an in-house attorney to a contract attorney, I will agree to that and that only, nothing more.
That's what the motion I proposed is for, so.
Okay, very
But
good.
I'm not going to abstain. That's wrong. That
I withdraw my motion.
Okay.
Okay, so is
Okay.
there another motion?
Are we still able to make a motion? That will,
She withdrew
she
her
withdrew
motion.
it.
You can make a motion, it's just up to Mr. Martinez if he decides to abstain or he decides to vote with it. If he votes with it, it kind of defeats the purpose of ratifying it. But it's up to the council what they want to do at this point. The motion I recommend is that you make a motion to approve the city attorney position being filled by a contract attorney as opposed to an in-house attorney.
That would be a ratification. I already
Yeah.
voted on that.
Yeah, that's a ratification. You make a motion to ratify that the city attorney position is filled by a contract attorney as opposed to an in-house attorney.
Yes, sir.
if that is the motion and that is all it is, it shouldn't make a difference whether I voted for it or not. It's if it's for the vote for to do it. If I vote yes or no or abstain or whatever, it doesn't make any difference.
so will you abstain?
No.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilor Alcacer and a second by Councilor Rodriguez to adjourn the special meeting that we called at 5:33. And we'll stand in recess until Sandra gets to switch over the video equipment. Thank you.